Understand why saving up to purchase a depreciating asset, let's say like an automobile or machinery or equipment in your business, will actually destroy or dramatically hinder your overall wealth accumulation. Get ready. A lot of people do not understand this concept. So I'm Doug Andrew. I've been a financial strategist and retirement planning specialist and a business owner now for 5 decades, helping people optimize assets, minimize tax, and empower their authentic wealth. I've consulted many thousands of business owners on how to maintain liquidity, safety, and earn predictable rates of return that are greater than the net cost of the funds, helping them understand how to become their own banker and utilizing what I call the L.A.S.E.R fund as their laser bank, and a cash fund, which includes the knowledge, attitude, skills, and habits. That's an acronym. In this episode, this is a concept that a lot of people have a hard time getting their brain around, that if you're going to buy a depreciating asset. Now, a lot of people, understand that when I buy an appreciating asset, let's say a home that I hope is going to appreciate in value, that I use OPM, other people's money. I borrow money to acquire real estate, and I make sure if I can tax deduct the interest, I do it, so that if I borrow money at 6% tax deductible interest in a 33% tax bracket, it doesn't cost me 6%. On $1 million, if I borrow at 6%, I write off $60,000 of interest a year. In a 33% bracket, I get a third of that back in actual tax savings, $20,000. And so the net cost of borrowing at 6 is only 4. And I know where I can earn rates of return earning 8 or greater tax-free. How much more is 8 than 4? Don't say, 4. It's double. It's 100% more. I make 100% rates of return on every $1 million. I can pay, $40,000 a year in interest, and I can make $80,000 on my $1 million. I'm making 100% more than the net cost of the funds. That's what banks and credit unions do. Many times I've borrowed money at 4.5% tax deductible interest in a 33% bracket. That's a net cost of 3, and I've made 9%. How much more is 9 than 3? It's 300%. Yes, after 2008 and interest rates came down, I was borrowing money at 3% interest on some of my properties. Tax deductible, that's a net cost of 2. And I was making 10% net, 10.07 to be exact, on my indexed universal life policies where I keep my liquid cash. How much more is 10 than 2? It's 500%. It's 5 times. Would you hire an employee for $20,000 that made you an extra, $100,000? Would you buy a widget machine for $20,000 that made you an extra $100,000? It would actually cost you money to pay that off, to fire that employee, to get rid of that widget machine. Does that make sense? And so the same is true if you're saving money to buy an asset, especially if it's a depreciating asset like equipment or a car. So let's use a car. So if I want to save money for a car, I'm going to have to sock away a certain amount of money every month or whatever to maybe buy this automobile that's going to cost me $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, or let's say it's a van for my business, a delivery van, and it's going to be $130,000, or a truck or whatever. Well, that's a depreciating asset. But if I wait around and sock away the money to hopefully grow to be able to pay cash when I can then buy the vehicle for $100,000, I'm losing out on the opportunity for that piece of equipment to make me a rate of return that might be double, triple, quadruple more than the net cost of the funds. It's actually costing me money, and it's taking me time to do that. And so here I am earning this compounding rate of return. Then I take out the money, and I just lost all that compounding, where when I accumulate the money, I use that as collateral. I use my own L.A.S.E.R bank, where my money in my L.A.S.E.R fund, a max-funded IUL, I can borrow money. The insurance company will loan me based upon the cash I have in there, and they'll loan me money at 2%, and they'll credit me 2%. That's a zero net cost, but I'm continuing to earn a rate of return. But most of the time, I use what is called an index loan, and that's where I borrow money at 4 or 5% out of my L.A.S.E.R fund, and I continue to earn 7, 10, 15, 25, 61%, which many were able to earn that from March of 2020 to March of 2021 by using a one-year point-to-point with no cap indexed universal life strategy. We had many clients that locked in gains of 61%. But back in 2017, I had a client that borrowed $1 million out of his policy, and he actually did it to acquire a strip mall, fix it up and flip it. But if he would have borrowed that for $1 million of equipment, instead of waiting to save up to pay cash for the million, or if he had the money, he would have given up the opportunity to earn a rate of return. It's the same reason. Instead, he borrowed $1 million at 5%, and that year on that $1 million that he tied up the strip mall, he made $3 million. But in the meantime, the $1 million in his policy got credited 25% in 2017. He made $250,000 tax-free on his $1 million minus the $50,000, the 5% interest on that. He netted 20% or $200,000 tax-free on his $1 million while he was using it technically to make $2 or $3 million in his business. See, that is why you use safe, positive leverage, the ability to own and control assets with very little or none of your money tied up at risk in that asset. And this is what gives you the ability to earn 100%, 300%, 500% rates of return, which I've done for years. So that's why you don't necessarily want to take so much time giving up the opportunity to save the money to pay cash for something. It sounds like maybe the smart thing to do. Mathematically, it's not the smart thing to do. I want to be in control. I want to have the money if I get into trouble. If I have it in a paid off asset, whether that asset is appreciating or depreciating, I have less control. There's only one way to get my money out of that piece of equipment, and that's to sell it or to borrow against it. And I should have done that in the first place if I lacked liquidity. When you need it the worst, it's the hardest to get. Sometimes you can't qualify to borrow it out when you need the money. It's better to have the equity. I've always said it's a lot better to have and not need than need and not have. It's a lot better to have access to your money and not need it than need it and not be able to get it because you can't qualify or you can't sell the asset. Does that make sense? So the time value of money and the ability to have your assets earning a rate of return is critical in understanding this concept. If you want to learn more about this incredible financial tool that I call the L.A.S.E.R Fund, L.A.S.E.R is an acronym that stands for Liquid Asset Safely Earning Returns. This is what I use for my working capital account, for my real estate management, for retirement planning, for my emergency funds. This is like the dream solution, like a financial Swiss Army knife. And if you want to learn more about this, how to diversify and keep your money liquid, safe, earning a predictable rate of return tax-free so that you can be in control, claim your free copy of this 300-page book. It's been flying off of our warehouse shelves. Now, you can go to Amazon. It retails for $20 plus shipping. If you do, thank you, but I'll gift you a copy free. You simply go to laserfund.com. You click on the link below. You contribute a nominal amount towards the shipping and handling. I'll cover the rest of that, and I'll pay for the book. I'll fire out a hard copy to you via priority mail. And while you're in there claiming your free copy of this book, if you'd like to listen and learn or watch and learn, check out those options. And the website there will show you different educational seminars that we do on a regular basis and webinars. They're free. You can even schedule an appointment with one of our top IUL specialists in America that I oversee, and they will show you with no cost or obligation how these concepts may apply in your particular set of circumstances. So learn how to use your money wisely, understand the marvels of wealth accumulation that I talk about in the book. This is about you and your brighter future.